Well, it is officially the month of August and it's hot outside. We're in the dog days of summer and catching bass is getting a little tough now. So for all you pond fishermen, I'm going to give you guys a couple lures to help you guys catch some fish. So my name's Austin. Let's talk about it. So as I said in the intro of this video, it's August and it's hot out. We are at the hottest part of the whole summer, so you really want to make sure that you're fishing the right baits and at the right time of day at this time of the year. I'm going to give you guys a list of 5 lures that are my go-tos at this time of year. So the first lure up on our list is a lure that you really have to fish at specific times. You really want to fish in low light conditions, so either really early morning or really late in the afternoon or at night, and that is the topwater frog. A topwater frog can be super effective in the evening or really early in the morning. When it gets to be this hot out at this time of the year, the fish are really not going to be too active during the middle of the day. When the sun's out, they're just going to be hiding and they're just going to be trying to stay cool, and they're not really looking to feed on too much. The topwater frog just really excels in low light conditions, so either really early morning, really late afternoon, or on cloudy days too. It's really great for ponds because it's so weedless, so a lot of times in ponds you have lily pads or just a lot of grass and stuff like that, and they're really shallow, so this thing works great because you're not going to get it caught up in weeds or anything. Not to mention, this lure is one of the most fun lures to throw ever. If you've never thrown a frog, you're missing out, and you definitely want to get your hands on one of these and try it out. As far as what color you're really going to want to throw, with topwaters it's not really too big of a deal what color. Just stick to basic colors like black or white, so just anything like that. Just kind of keep it simple, really don't overcomplicate it, and you should do fine. The next lure on the list is a moving bait, and that is a chatterbait or vibrating jig. This is another lure that works great in ponds just because of how weedless it is, and it imitates a bait fish. This is a bluegill color right here, which is perfect because bluegill are a lot of times loaded in ponds. As far as colors go for ponds, you kind of just want to keep it natural, so any bluegill colors, green pumpkins, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. So those work really well. Again, in August, as hot as it is, fish really aren't going to be chasing too much bait in the middle of the day. It's just hot, so they're just kind of trying to chill. So this is, again, low light conditions, kind of later evening, early morning. This can do really well. The third lure on my list is a lure that will do good even at the hottest part of the day, and that is a just big old 10-inch curly tail worm. This time of the year, especially during the middle of the day, the fish aren't trying to work super hard for a meal, especially not a tiny little meal. So they're looking for something big and slow, and that's why this works so good. If you're just popping it on the bottom or barely dragging it, and these fish see it down there, it's just got a big presence in the water, and they're gonna wanna go after that because it's a big, easy meal rather than going after something small that they have to chase down. Again, as far as colors go with this, it's pretty easy. For ponds, you just kinda wanna keep it simple, so green pumpkin is always a go-to. This right here is a June bug color, which also works fine. It kinda just depends on the water clarity in the pond that you are fishing. The fourth bait on my list is going to be another topwater lure, but it's going to be a little bit more for open water situations. Unlike the frog, you're not going to want to throw this around weeds or lily pads. This kind of has to be much more open water, and that is just a simple walking bait. A walking bait can be great when the water's calm or you just have a lot of open water in a pond. There's so many different ways you can work a walking bait, but just simply walking the dog is a great way to catch a lot of fish. Again, you're going to want to fish this in low light conditions, so early morning, late evening. For colors, just keep it simple again. Like I've got a black right here. White will work also, but anything simple like that. So the fifth lure on my list is going to be one that I feel like you just always have to have with you. Any time of the year, you always have to be throwing it. And that is going to be a Senko. Whether you Texas rig it or wacky rig it, you always got to have one tied up and with you, ready to go. So while this lure does have a much smaller profile than like a big 10-inch worm or something, it still is super effective, especially if you have to go finesse on them. A wacky rig is great for that, and a Texas rig can be great just getting up in that cover when it's really like a lot of weeds and stuff like that. Again, a Senko works pretty much any time of the day, but in the summertime, really just fishing mornings and evening is just better overall, and it's just gonna get you more bites. For colors for these, it's basically the same. It's more soft plastics, so just green pumpkin's always just a staple. It's a great color to go with. I also sometimes throw more of like a cinnamon type supernatural color. That's really if you got like really pretty clear water, that can do really well too. Now I know I said I was only going to list 5 lures, but I got one kind of bonus lure for you, and that is going to be a jig. A jig can also work really well. Again, it's just a big lure and it's an easy meal. If you just drag that or hop it along the bottom, that and a big curly tail worm are really good meals, and they can get those big bites. They may get the little bites too, but you can also get those big bites. So you always have that potential to catch a big fish, which is just always a goal for fishermen. Jigs are great for ponds just because of how weedless they are. They got a big weed guard on there, so you can throw these pretty much anywhere in the pond and they're not gonna get stuck. It's really good in around any wood or like even in around lily pads or just any grass and stuff like that. It can do really well. As far as which color you're gonna wanna be throwing, again, kind of just keep it natural, like the green pumpkin colors. If you got clearer water, if your water's a little bit dirtier, you can throw a black and blue jig. I throw both, so really kind of just comes down to what the fish are wanting to bite or what you prefer. Now there is one other lure that I probably could have put on this list, but because this video is meant for you pond anglers, I didn't put it on there, and that is a crankbait, just because a crankbait, if you're fishing ponds and there's weeds and all kinds of cover, you're just going to be catching that all day long, and you're not going to be catching many fish. You're going to spend most of your time just trying to get all the stuff out of your lure or getting it stuck on the bottom and losing crankbaits. It's just going to be frustrating. So that's why, as an alternative, I mentioned the chatterbait, which is going to go through that cover much easier. You're still going to get a lot of bites. It imitates a bait fish still, but it's going to be much less frustrating because you're going to be catching fish and not grass. All right, well, I know this wasn't the longest video, but I kind of just wanted it to be quick and straight to the point so you guys can catch as many bass as possible this month. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notifications bell so you always know when I drop a new video. If y'all would like to see more content like this, be sure to check out my videos on the screen, and we'll catch y'all on the next one. That's an epic way to end it. That's what I'm talking about, baby.